Hello everyone, how are you all? This is the fifth video of our lecture series that is based on sound. So, in this video, we will learn about the factors affecting quality of sound. So, what are the factors that are affecting the quality of sound? What makes the sound of someone different from another person? What makes the sound of mine different from you will be learned in this video. So the main two factors that will determine the quality of sound are: number one is your amplitude, and number two is your frequency. The frequency and amplitude of the sound will determine the shrillness or deeper or the loudness of the sound. Whether it is loud or not, whether it is shrill or not, will be determined by this amplitude and frequency. The frequency and pitch have a direct relation that we will learn in this video. So let's start about amplitude. What is the amplitude? In the previous videos, we have learned about the depth or the crest, the highest point or the deepest point of the wave is called amplitude, where the crest is known as your positive amplitude, while that of your tau is called your negative amplitude. Here the image is like that, where this is the wave, this is your crest, this is your flow. So this is known as your amplitude. So this amplitude have a direct relation with the loudness of the sound. The loudness of the sound is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. The loudness of the sound is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. You can write there, loudness is directly proportional to amplitude. Amplitude per square. So loudness is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. Here, if the amplitude is 2, then the loudness will be 4. If the amplitude is 4, then loudness will be 16 times. So this is the relation between loudness and amplitude. If the amplitude is more, the sound will be more louder. If amplitude is less, then the sound will be lesser. So you can remember in the third video where we are learning about hearing of sound, the three bones that are called as ossicles, the majus, incus and stipes. These three bones are amplifying the sound. They are increasing the amplitude. That means they are increasing the loudness of the sound. This is the concept behind that. Okay, so loudness is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. So what is the measurement of loudness? How can we say whether this sound is louder and this is not louder? So this loudness is being measured by decibel. Decibel. D-E-C-I-B-E-L. Decibel. It is written as dB. Loudness is measured by decibel unit. So symbol is small d and capital B. Here we have written some common decibels which are occurring in our day-to-day life. So whenever we are breathing, silent breathing is occurring, that will be of 10 decibel breathing mechanism. Whenever the whispering, you are talking with your friends, do not shout, whisper among yourselves. So during that time, you are producing around 30 decibels. Whenever we are normally talking with one another, we are producing 60 decibels of sound. And when we are present in the traffic, the sound will be around 70 decibel. And when the factory is working, the average decibel of factory will be around 80 decibel. When the sound increases, when the loudness of sound increases from 80 decibel, it is painful for our ear to hear these sounds. So this is about the loudness of sound. Next come to the frequency, the other factor which is affecting sound, that is frequency. So, in the previous video, we have learned about frequency, its denotation nu, its relation with the wavelength. So, whenever frequency increases, the shrillness of the sound increase, and frequency is directly proportional to pitch. So we write down this frequency. The heading is frequency, and frequency is directly proportional to pitch of the sound. Pitch of the sound. And these two things are directly proportional to your frequency and pitch will directly proportional to shrillness of sound. Shrillness of sound. So higher will be the frequency. So higher will be the frequency. Shriller will be the voice. So we learn the voice of the girls are more shriller as compared to voice of the male ones because they have high frequency sounds. But in case of lion, the frequency is less. In case of male, the frequency is less. Birds have sound having high frequency. High frequency means what? Number of waves are more. So like this, like this, like. But when the frequency is less, that means the waves are like this. So that are the waves are like this. So this is the difference between and how the male voice is different from the female voice depending upon the frequency and pitch. So the third topic of today's video, that is what is audible sound and what is inaudible sound. Women here can hear a range of sound, a certain range of sound, but cannot hear above it and below it. So the sound which can be heard by, or the frequency of sound which can be heard by human is called audible. Right? Which cannot be heard is called inaudible sound. So put the heading in your copy, that is audible sound and inaudible sound. Audible and audible and inaudible sound, what we can hear and what we cannot hear. So human ear can distinguish a sound whose vibration or whose frequency is above 20 hertz and below 20,000 hertz. 20,000 hertz can be written as 20 kilohertz. 20 kilohertz. So when the sound is below 20 hertz, or the number of vibrations that are occurring in one unit time is below 20 times, then the human ear cannot hear. It is called inaudible sound. But when it's in between 20 to 20,000, human ear can distinguish it. This is called audible sound. And when it again above 20 kilohertz or 20,000 hertz, human ear cannot distinguish it. So that is also known as your inaudible sound. So the sound whose frequency is in between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz are known as audible sound, and the sound above its frequency or below its frequency is called inaudible sound. But this is not same in case of all animals. As an example, we can see that in case of dogs, their frequency is more, their ear is more frequent, so that they can hear the sound whose frequency is above 20,000. Normally, the policemen are using the high frequency whistles that cannot be heard by humans, but that can be heard by the dogs. So this is about today's video. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a nice day. Stay inside home. Be safe.